With Luna leading the way this week, we are going to step out of the inner garden of our backyard directly here behind the house and take you on a journey. This tree is part of what's going to be happening. And I want to tell you that I've been on this for the last year. I've been on this journey to create a new kind of garden space, one that will have the basics with the goal that it will require little maintenance, work in the future, yet daily attention. More on that. I didn't have a name for this space before, but I do now, thinking of the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, who said that peace is in every step. It's been a year, but with all the craziness in the world, I've decided to dedicate this as my peace garden. This is how this land looked a year ago. Nothing here, just a lot of meadow grass, hasn't been touched in over 30 years. That's our garden over there. And then one morning I woke up and I had this vision of creating something with this land. So we got these two trees, started just thinking, what if there was a path that took us to something? Originally, I had this idea about having a teepee on this land. Now, I have my regular garden behind this metal wall that we have put up to keep the grasshoppers out, but nothing out here. And it just felt after over 30 years of living on this property that something needed to be done. We needed to honor the land in some way. So we planted these two trees as the entranceway right here, both a Norfolk pine and this other lovely pine. And I kept thinking about this meandering path that would take you to a circle, which would have a teepee on it. Now, if that teepee was right there, I thought, wouldn't that honor all the Native Americans who lived and toiled this land oh so many generations ago? I feel the whisper. I hear their spirit here all the time, and I wanted to find a way to honor them. So I thought we'd create this circle and have the teepee on it. Now, I discovered in my journeys as I went, teepees are a little expensive. That to put one right there, we were going to have a cost because we needed to bring somebody in to help put this circle in place, as well as a fence. We decided we wanted to put a fence up along our neighbor's yard to keep the noise of what goes on over there, plus their trash cans. The trash cans were making me crazy. We did ask them to move them at one point in time, and they said no. Very lovely people, but that's what they wanted. So we decided we would also put a fence up there as well. And again, the whole idea was to honor this land, which again, as you can see by the roughage of grass, it doesn't get watered. And, we're in a very dry climate here in Colorado. So it wasn't very attractive whatsoever. And it's a big piece of land. I just didn't feel like we were honoring it. So coming back here, I did hire a landscaper to help us to figure out what would be the best way to get this piece of land going. So they started off with building this fence, a lovely fence along the way. And by the way, and you haven't seen it so far, but we have amazing views of the Rocky Mountains from this space as well. But that he would guide a path along the way. And I didn't want a straight path. It needed to be meandering because I wanted to have there be a thoughtfulness. And again, the fence would quiet things down, the noise the visual noise more than loud noise, but that comes from other sources around the neighborhood for sure. But the visual noise, and to have us when we're in this space, to have it be a little bit more private. Though we have found as we go, you never know what's going to happen along the way. But there they were with the fence, creating this vision that, have you ever had a vision that just wouldn't go away? Well, this was this vision for me. And I knew that we would probably end up painting the fence just to lighten it up. And it, was a cedar fence. So they, got to putting that up. And again, you can see all the things that I just didn't want to see anymore. The noise that was coming up for me in this space. So there we were beginning to create it. And soon the fence was done. And even Ed commented how he couldn't believe how it quieted down the space. So now it was time to focus on the circle. We wanted to get weed cloth down, which has worked so-so. I will tell you that, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as I take you on a journey through this space as it is right now. But as we so this was last May and going into June, and there was the circle and how we would create it with the fence behind it looking so much better. I couldn't see the trash cans anymore. And that, my friends, made me very, very happy. The next stage of the journey was putting in this pathway, which from the moment I saw it, this granite, crushed granite pathway, I loved it. But I knew I wanted to put some natural features. I didn't like the metal there. So I figured, what if I put rocks all the way along the pathway? How would that be? And then my neighbor told me she had some rocks that she wasn't using. I did mini loads in my little car and brought them over to put them in place with the walkway. And I have to tell you, as I did it, there was so much inspiration with each load of rocks as I placed each rock in the ground. I felt such a compelling, the beauty of the space, and it was just starting to come to life in a way that I had envisioned. Now, I knew the teepee wasn't going to happen because, you know, it was too much money. It was about $10,000 to put in a teepee, and I just didn't think that somehow it didn't feel like it would honor with that. And we didn't have the money for it either, to be quite honest. So I began just thinking as I put rocks all along the path that my dear neighbor Vicky had helped supply. And me and the girls, when Ed was off on a trip, just spent days. Spent about 3 days putting these rocks down and visioning. And then we were done. Hooray! It felt so good. So here it was, our finished circle. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I walked it daily just to try to figure it out. So now let me take you on a little trip today. Oh, but wait, one more important part, a very important part that happened about 2 weeks ago when I found the perfect, I don't know about you, but when my instinct tells me something, I go with it. I found the perfect gazebo, beautiful artwork type of thing right at our local garden center at the Flower Bend, and they came and put it together here for us, and it was absolutely and has absolutely made the space. I will share that more with you as we walk through this live today. You'll notice also there's to the left there's some 3 little juniper trees that we did plant last year are doing great, and another little bush down there. And again, we'll do this all in the walkthrough that we'll do right now. Today, one of the things that we are adding is a serviceberry tree, and I will tell you more about the serviceberry tree in just a few, but Ed is here planting the serviceberry tree, and
just waving to the mailman. That's what it is when you're
waving to
retired.
the mailman, yeah.
You get to know them.
And Abby and Luna, of course, are here for moral support and a little shade from the wheelbarrow. So Ed, what's happening? What are you doing?
We're blasting through the concrete. We haven't had rain, substantial rain, in a couple of years, so it's
And this soil has not been worked in decades.
decades, if ever.
Yeah.
It's the soil that was here from the prairies. Anyway, we dug it out. It's even with the bottom, with the top here, so that you don't bury this. We'll mix a little dirt, put some nice topsoil, some compost, some biotone to give it some vitamins. I like using a little barrier here because they're on everything to keeps the weeds and all of the stuff out. So you guys know pi, so it's 24 times pi, which is 3.1, which is about 72-ish and a little bit. So I cut a piece 74 inches around, and then it'll be enough to put a barrier. It keeps the water in, keeps the weeds out. It works pretty good. It's pretty cheap. It's like, I don't know, 25 bucks, 28 bucks for the whole thing at Lowe's.
Beautiful.
What else? So
What else? So you're gonna mix up. What are you gonna mix up to
I'm
put
gonna
in
put a little
there?
topsoil in the bottom, some compost, and
Biotone.
biotone. And then on the way, the next batch will be some topsoil and the soil that's there, so that the tree, as it grows out, doesn't go from extreme one type of soil to into the soil. So this will break down as the roots go into it, and I'm gonna
I'm gonna.
I'm gonna I'm gonna have water. I have water run out from the house on one of the zones in a sprinkler, so it's a drip system comes up to here. I'll tap in here, and then we'll dig a little trench here in case we decide to put another one here. We were talking about it, but after digging today, we'll see.
It may not
Get some
happen
dynamite.
anytime soon.
Anyway, so I'll run a drip line here, and it'll water every day, twice a day for 5 minutes. It should be okay. Um, so this is what we're gonna do.
Nice.
Okay, so we'll do a little mixing.
As Ed finishes planting up this tree, I wanted to share with you the reason why I decided to go with a serviceberry tree. One, that it does bear fruit, the serviceberry, which is, as I understand it, I've never tasted one and I can't wait to taste it. It is part, tastes like a blueberry cherry combo, which both I absolutely love. It is fairly drought tolerant, meaning it doesn't need a ton of water. It definitely needs water, which, as Ed shared, we're going to be bringing water to it, but it doesn't need as much water as some trees might. And what got me even thinking about a serviceberry tree is the book that I read called The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer. And she shared the whole idea around the generosity of a, a plant, what it gives back to nature, and the idea that some things in nature are meant to be shared and not owned. And just like things in our world are meant to be shared and not owned, the serviceberry tree lives that. So whether it's being eaten by the berries are being eaten by humans or birds, it's just something about this tree felt like it belonged in this place about peace. And as I tried to get this uh yeah, focused. It didn't go so well, but know that it has beautiful blooms I'll be sharing with you in the weeks ahead. There we go. And also a beautiful fall foliage in the fall. So it just seemed like a beautiful thing to have here and give us some shade to have on this space that will grow with this space over the years to come. And I love that Serviceberry really represents generosity, connection, and really enoughness. And isn't that perfect for a spot like this? And a big shout out to my husband, Ed, who does so much heavy lifting around here. I couldn't do it without him. Thank you. Thank you. And as I walk out here this afternoon to give you this up close and personal tour of what the Peace Garden has become, I keep thinking about this idea of a bridge and how we bridge our connections. And that's how peace really is won, right? Because you you bridge connections and it takes you from one place to another, just like this meandering path does. All the little components that has made this so far just really a joy to have. And I think of how, what if we all started doing a peace garden? Think of the power that would bring. Now here's this little tree. I'll show you the little pieces and then I have more I want to share about that. But here's this little tree and we've got to cut the grass around it a little more. We have a couple of lilacs that we're going to replant from another part of the yard that aren't doing so good over there. We think they'll do better here with more sun. And then these junipers that are just lovely. And then of course, the serviceberry tree. Now it's so funny with the fence, as you see, we did paint it. And then, crazy as it is, My neighbors, I just love them, but then they put the camper, had to put the camper right there. So these are things in life, we just have to go with it. And the Serviceberry is all staked in and will be here for years to come. And then here's a couple of other things that I wanted to share with you, that I actually put out here before we got the gazebo. I one day came out and just had this desire to do the moon and then the sun out of some extra rock that we had around and a few little stars to kind of bring in the universe to this space. But here's the gazebo. I just have this table in the middle and some tile that we're thinking about putting this, some gray tile flooring here so that it'll be a nice place for meditation. And just look at, I just love, this is what sold me on it, was the roof of it is just really beautiful looking up towards the sky. Let me turn the camera around. I've got a few parting words to share. When you think about having a peace garden in your own place and what that would mean. All right, my friends. Well, as we wrap up this week's video, I want to really, one more time, share this idea about a peace garden and ask you, what if you started a peace garden somewhere in your garden, just that one spot that you go and say a prayer for peace? I don't care what religion you are, if you even have a religion, but if we all collectively start putting positive energy out into the universe, I do believe we can make a difference, especially on those days when we feel like there's nothing we can do to stop the war that is underway in our country, the things that are happening that are scary, and the things that are happening that we know are anything but peaceful. If we can collectively come together, find this place in beauty and nature, and make it our peace garden. I would also love your feedback on what else you think I could add to this peace garden, and I'll share more as we go in the weeks ahead, as everything around here progresses, and in the garden and out of the garden and all of that. But I would love your feedback here. If you could leave it in the comments, it just means the world to me if you could do that, and how we can come from our hearts to find peace on our planet. Let me know your thoughts, and what else. I'm thinking about perhaps a bird bath out here, just as I come out to do my daily prayer for peace, that there I could put water into the bird bath, or maybe a sundial, just all kinds of things, again, that aren't maintenance required. You saw the art that I did here. I might do some more art in the sand, or in the dirt, to make it. But again, really, I'm trying to contain myself as far as getting more plants out here. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Love to hear from you. Leave the comments, and remember to plant often. Maybe not in the peace garden, but around your garden and around what matters to you in your life, and to do it, my friends, with a lot of love. Take really good care. I don't think I said it before, but my name is Sherry, and thanks for letting me spend this time with you. If you'd like to get more in the weeks ahead, we try to come out every Sunday morning and would love to have you as part of our community. Please subscribe and check out all of our goodies in our